6 seconds. It's all I can manage. String asked me to do that. You know, if you know me, you know who String is. He's my best mate. And not many people can see him. Well, actually, only I can see him, except in photographs. And some people can only see him then. Some people can't see him even in photographs, but he's there. He's in most of them. He's asked me to do a couple of things. One of them is, there's something he wrote ages ago, right? When String writes, it's in invisible ink, right? So you can't see it. However, if he writes in the Red Book of Knowledge, it's visible. And there it is, see? String is not just a theory. Right? And there's his signature. That's how he writes. He's quite a good writer, actually. Old String. Anyway, that's the Red Book of Knowledge, and that's to prove that String exists. And not just a fig box of my imagination. He's written a poem that he wants me to read out, which I will. He also wanted me to show you my school report. Yeah, I know, I'm ancient, I know that, and when I went to school we had vellum to write on, which is made of goat skin, and we had dip quills. Quills are called. They were a feather with a pointy bit on the end, and you used to dip them in these ink wells and scribble on the vellum. Right. This is my school report from them days, right? Printed on vellum. You can feel how old it is. It's ancient, right? And he said he just wants to point out a couple of things that people said. One of them is mostly it's about geography that he wants me to talk about, because I'm not very good at geography. And there's good reason for it. He's not very good at geography either, for the same reason. Right, so geography. Rocky shows interest in class, but this is not always apparent in his written work. Could do much better. Childish behaviour often slows up progress. Far too light-hearted about his work. He must settle down. Well, I must, eventually. No ambition and no interest. Yes, that's me. No interest. It was metalwork. I had no interest in that. Like once they stopped me making a sword, I couldn't give a toss about it. Some progress, but easily distracted. Well, English. I mean, I can speak English anyway. So what do I need that for? Rather erratic in efforts and progress. Sensible behaviour would improve his chances. Zut alors! J'ai demandé un brèche, ne pas le buter. Je ne pas siffler, monsieur. That's all the French I know, and that's because I didn't take any notice. A cheerful boy who does not take this very seriously. He could improve. Erratic. So, doomed to failure. Who cares? I've got to be doomed to something, haven't I? And I'm good at it. So, this is the poem by String. There'll be a couple of maps to accompany it in the blah blah blah, so that you can actually see where he's talking about. And this is what String knows about the world, really, and geography. It's about more than I know about it, actually, but he wrote this, so some of it I don't even understand, because like things like oceans, I don't get them. You know, I don't even know if he mentions them in here, but he told me about them earlier. Anyway, so here's his poem called Sowf of Lundern. Sometimes people ask me, where are you from? And of course my usual reply is Sowf of Lundern, because I'm not from those other really exotic places I've only ever dreamed about, with all their airs and graces. Huge castles, posh houses, big cities and towns that I'm sure are really out there, but I have never found. That the poles do exist, I can only suppose. That maybe people went there once and actually froze. You know, the north with its Eskimos, and of course the polar bears and igloos and frost giants, and ooh, now I'm scared. Anyway, then there's the West Country, in a place that's known as the West. I know they've got a great railway, but little of the rest. And then where else is there? Scotland, right there at the top. To get there, if you start walking today, and in a few weeks' time you stop. I'm not really certain if Scotland is above or below the north, but I've heard with a car and a bucket of petrol it's easy to get back and forth. Then the pole itself, that's if it really exists, not a metaphorical stick just made up in a myth. And Wales, though I can't really be certain if it is where it's drawn on my map. The map was drawn up by my best mate Uddy, so blame him if it's wrong or crap. There aren't polar bears of this, I am told, although what I'm thinking now never gets old. I'm almost sure I've read somewhere that it rains almost all of the year, and there are dragons flying everywhere, though exciting, a thing to be feared. Every time the sun starts to shine, daffodils just spring from the ground, and the people only eat lumps of coal. Their wise men dig from the ground. That dragon bit, though, even though I feel its truth may be something born of a trip, also that people don't really eat coal, oh yeah, and the daffodil bit. You may now have sussed this out. I'm useless at geography because I didn't listen in school because it was too boring for me. To be honest, I didn't listen then, and I'm still not listening now. Running around with some headphones on can teach you about stuff. How? To learn where everything really is, you have to see it for yourself, and unless you can run really fucking fast, leave that shit on the shelf. But anyway, it's impossible to run across the sea. That's why it never happened. You just can't disagree. Now, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that there's a sea that separates this bit from that bit, if you see what I can see. And then there's an island called Island, I think. A mythical land where dark beer's all they drink. They grow fields of shamrocks, whatever they are. I hear that you can get there by bridge in a car. But to me they're all exotic because I have never been, even as far as London, to see the bloody Queen. Though the south isn't really where I'm from, or so I've always been told. Other places still existed, and my folks went there in the dark, dark days of old. I was born in a place called Batagaja, which wasn't just far, but far, 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 far. But how that is, it seems to be a conundrum, because it's not on my map at all in the south of London. In fact, it goes further, but it ain't very clear if this place is that place, or that place, or this place is here. Whatever that all meant. C string, there's no sense to him whatsoever. You can't keep him down. And if you don't believe me about string, all I can say is it's a Bender thing you wouldn't understand. Namaste.